Oh, yeah. Got plenty of people who can do that. So 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Music, Mind and Wellbeing, Anne Phillips. We are here. And as I was just saying to Nick, you know what? Not worrying about the lighting today because it's doing what it's doing, but it's great to be here. I'm so appreciative of every single one of you that has decided over the last few weeks to subscribe, to like, to follow. There's been some great comments. Thank you so much. And guess what? I'm here with Nico Morales. I love saying it like that because it just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Right?
Sure.
And we are going to have an amazing conversation with No Halo. And you guys know all the details are in the description box below. So we've actually already said what the title is going to be. Shh. Again, you'll hear it later. Oh, God, I'll give it to you now. It will speak for itself. I'm telling you. I want us to talk mission, vision, values, because they'll speak for themselves. So what is, I know like we've got them out there on our websites and things like this, but what is your mission for No Halo?
It's a great question. The mission for No Halo is to impact one individual who can avoid some pain that I've already felt, and to make sure that people know they don't have to be perfect. That's my mission.
You know what? I love it because you don't have to be perfect. And the short version is really that I affect minds that empower the person. Because for me, everything's about the journey, and the journey doesn't have a destination. It's just a complete healing process that you go on day by day, step by step, that you're empowered because your thinking will change. You will grow. So in your mission of what you've just said, how does that speak to you according to what we've said? We're going to talk about the title. It will speak for itself, because I know you've been going through some things.
Yeah. So, you know what? When you're on a mission, your actions will speak for themselves. What you do will speak for themselves. There are different groups out there who want to know everything before they engage. I once had a mother tell me, well, let me vet your program first before I start promoting it. I'm like, fine, do your due diligence. But one of the reasons why people are attracted to me is because I walk what I talk. I act in a certain way that it speaks for itself. You're not going to catch me smoking a blunt and saying, well, don't do drugs. You're not going to catch me sitting at a bar drinking and saying, hey, don't drink. My actions speak for themselves. So that's how it kind of aligns. And then in a business aspect, there's some individuals who like to take more. They want the position of control and they don't get it. So they try to get people to speak outside of what's already been spoken for. And that's any organization. People just
explain that. Explain it for anybody who's not in that plot twist right now and they need to know.
So there's decision makers. There's people who actually can put the pen to paper and make the decision. That's a decision maker. Their word is final. Then there's individuals behind that decision maker who support them and believe just because they support them, they have influence they have the same decision-making power. The reality is there's only one name that goes on that piece of paper that says, hey, it's good to go. And once that name goes on there,
it's good to go.
It's good to go. Let me use this as an example. I worked for an organization, and one of the sales representatives had been at this organization for more than 10, 15 years. And they believed that they had the same decision-making power as the owner. So they went into one of their meetings and started talking a little bit loudly about their decision-making power and whatnot, and they didn't have it. So it comes back around to bite them in the butt. The owner was like, no, we're not doing what you promised, so you need to go back and tell them that. It spoke for itself there, and
you know what, it always does. And right, put it in line with the mission that I have of the delivering the resources and the tools that affect and empower someone to be able to go on that authentic journey for themselves, right? Because as you're moving through that journey, it will speak for you. Every decision that you make every single day. So there you are sitting there, and the negative thoughts that come and bombard us, the thousands every single day. If I have taught you correctly, and I believe I do, the fact that you will then grab hold, just as if I've taken a container and said, right, this is a negative thought. I've got it. I may have named that and said, oh no, I'm feeling shame right in that moment, right there. Why is that? You've dug deep and then you've gone, no. I'm grateful. I'm grateful that I get to experience this moment. I'm grateful that I get to actually think about what I'm thinking about. It will speak for itself because it becomes a natural process. So even though still as a natural person, you are having thousands of negative thoughts per day, you are able to flip them and not experience the negative thoughts and affect your life. So that person who went into that meeting being the influencer, but not the decision maker, should have deferred and spoken to the decision maker beforehand, the owner of the company. Well, actually, this is what, I'm thinking of promising to these people. And, in that moment, the owner might have gone halfway. Well, we could meet them here, but we can't do the whole thing. But the meeting, that just throws you out, because it shows that other person has just decided this is it, all or nothing. So how will speak for itself, apply to the values that No Halo has?
Well, one of the values is that we don't speak on anything that we don't know. Like if I've heard it this way, and I think it's the most eloquent way to say it. If it is not an option for you, then you have no opinion on it.
That's right.
And
that's right.
That's one of the core values in my organization. If you haven't done it, then don't tell somebody how to do it. If you haven't walked what they've walked, then don't tell somebody how to do it. There's certain lifestyles that I haven't lived that I will not engage with just because I cannot relate on a mindful level to get you through it. I can guide, I can give my own experience, but there's some lifestyles that I just never lived, so I can't tell you how to do it. If somebody were to come and say, well, I want to know what it's like to go from high school into college and then into a career. Oh, let me find somebody for you, because I had never done that.
That's right.
That's not who I am. If you're wanting to know what's it like to go into school and then go into the workforce and then join back into education while you're still in the workforce, I got you. I can answer that question. And that's a very baseline of it, right? But these values will speak for themselves in the way that you conduct yourself. There's certain things that, again, I'm going to use that analogy. Like, you won't find me at a bar just drinking by myself. Now, if I'm at a bar, it's probably because I'm there to drive somebody home. Like, there's a value that I have that if somebody calls me and says, hey, I need a ride home, and they're over drinking and I'm working with them, guess what? If I'm not the one that can go get them, then it's going to be an Uber that I purchase for them.
Absolutely.
Something like that. Because there's values that we move by, because they're going to speak for themselves.
And I love that. I love that, Nick. No, seriously, I know, like, we're sort of shrugging and thinking, but I'm on the same page as you as that, because really it's a simple thing. If you're coming for that whole school, college and uni, whatever, different languages for our countries, it's like, oh, actually, hold on a second. I know someone who can actually speak to you on that. But really and truly, let me just, if you're coming to me because you did have that homelessness, you went back into school, and then you went into the workforce because you were still aiming to work while you were still homeless, but yet even then while you were working, you were still doing academia. Come on, I got you. I got you with all sorts of things that were going on in the background. And this is why one of our major values at Music, Mind and Wellbeing is compassion. We're a compassionate organization. And some people say, oh, that means that you're an empath or empathic regarding, okay, let me just debunk something, right? People who actually talk about empaths and etc. is the fact that being an empath, you're just more sensitive, right? You have a great sensitivity. Now, this doesn't always have to be based in life's traumas. It really doesn't. Because the one thing is, you can actually develop your empathy. So being compassionate, being a place of work that is compassionate, you can be watching documentaries, autobiographies, and really start to develop your empathy, reading books towards certain things that are happening. Having that compassion and knowing there was the fires, etc. in Maui. Okay, I can't go there physically. I know, I'll pray for them. And just pop it up on social. Yeah, praying for Maui. Because like to me, it's like that's the compassion that I can show in that moment. Who is from that particular area is like, okay, you know what? I know they're busy. I know they're dealing with things. I'll pray for them right now. That's one way. I mean, there's loads of physical ways that you can take that, so that to me is taking a value, putting it in to the physical of how we deal with that. But it speaks for itself.
It
to
does.
Me.
I would like
Yeah.
to just flip it too, because there is a whole realm, a whole industry, or I'm sorry, a whole realm in each industry that it speaks for itself that they don't know what they're doing. Like that's the other side of it. When you're working with somebody who has promised you that they have promised you an outcome that they have not achieved themselves, it speaks for itself. Let me put it this way. When I first started working, sorry, I'm thinking about how to say it without dropping names.
Okay, go on.
When I first started working in this professional development industry, I learned that, and I learned this the hard way, that individuals will associate with certain name brands in order to develop their own personal brand. Now, I had an individual approach me on some coaching services that affiliated with a name brand, and they didn't actually have the skill sets that they were wanting. They're being paid for practice. Let me put it that way. And I could tell within weeks, it spoke for itself that they didn't know what they were actually doing. They were mimicking, they were biting, they were making the same movements and gestures as this name brand and trying to gain notoriety for themselves. Now, picked up on it because I have some intuitions, and I was like, yeah. So I started asking questions. And when they couldn't answer certain questions, I was like, oh yeah, it spoke for itself that you don't know what you're doing. And you just hustled me based off of someone else's name because I thought that I was so green and new to this stuff that it spoke for itself that you're just as green and new as I am. And you just thought that you could do it.
Whoa. That is amazing, because you know what, if there's one thing, we're all new and green and growing continually at different stages of our lives. I have been working in communications practically all of my life, but I've been helping people in the background all of my life. And it was only when it was 2013 that it really started to develop as the business, which really then started to take off. I never knew how many people would slowly start coming. Pandemic put paid to a few things that were happening. The groups, the meetings, all that sort of stuff was starting to shut down, obviously, and then they did shut down because of the pandemic, and they haven't, a lot of them haven't taken up in the way that we thought that they would. But it's only now 2023 they are slowly picking up again, hence obviously you doing what you're doing. But at the same time, it's not good when somebody is affiliated, you've given that example, to somebody higher, let me just put it that way, and then takes advantage, because that to me is not right. I believe you were on a call we were on together at one point where I had literally turned around when somebody had DM'd me, and because I had put it out there, oh guys, you know, I really need help with this, that and the other, and somebody DM'd me, and it was in that moment, and I'll be really transparent, that yeah, someone took quite a bit of money, you know, and because again, you're green in that moment, you needed the help to go from one step to another. And it's only in that, when that has happened and that spoke for itself, you then start to ask the questions that should have been asked in the beginning. And what I really, really enjoyed about that process is the fact it's the same learning curve that I'm on, that other people are going through. Well, how did you cope with that? This example right there. Oh, so it's happened to you as well. And that's what we keep talking about, the life experience. It's there for us to go through, there for us to share. It speaks for itself. So what about the vision of No Halo?
Well, the vision has been expanding. So ideally, I'd like to be an international brand that impacts adults who are wanting to understand mindfulness because they weren't taught it at a age that could have been more impactful. So that's the goal. I really want people to understand that I struggle with the term recovery, because for some people that term is, you know, a lifestyle. And for me, there's things I'd never want to recover from my previous lifestyle. What I do want to do is personally develop, though, from that person that I was. So that's when I learned about personal development, and the vision is to have an international personal development brand. I've been able to make it multi-country now. I've helped individuals from Nigeria, from Canada, from the United States. So it's growing, but the ultimate vision is to have a world impact with this specific niche of individuals who have struggled with some sort of substance use history in their lifestyle, some sort of adversity that I can relate to, because it's not just substance use, there's layers of it, and then impact them so they can go impact more people. It's a ripple effect. That's the vision, is to be one stone in this big old world lake that has a large ripple that's continuous, because we're only here for a short amount of time, quite frankly, and we don't never know when that's going to end. So the way that my goal is that when I interact with individuals, how present I can be, how focused I can be, if I can give them all of my attention at that moment in time, it will speak for itself that I'm there to do what I need to do for you.
Absolutely. I love that. Thank you. Absolutely great answer. Because, I mean, you talked about the ripple effects, you talked about being worldwide. Yes, internationally, I've helped people from other parts of Europe, the Caribbean, the United States. You know, it really has gone worldwide. And I love that, because you'll just suddenly get, you know, someone DM you from India or something, or Pakistan, and you're thinking, okay, is there going to be a language barrier here? What is the experience that I need to learn in this? but they're coming to me on that basis of, when I say the vision, it will speak for itself. My vision is to make sure that people are empowered to get through their challenges via a journey of healing and well-being. Because as they develop and grow, there are many tools that can be used regarding all of this. And that ripple effect, that stone skim and then ripple out. But the rippling is the empowerment that they receive. And like yourself, the word recovery, some people see it in the negative form. I tend to use challenges because some people see issues in the negative form. So challenges and issues sometimes, but challenges a lot of the time. Because challenges, actually, when you say the word challenge, it motivates you to do something. We both have our challenges that we have, the 30-day mindset for me and yourself as well. Those challenges that we have, it's someone comes into the challenge knowing that there's going to be work to be done. That means that you will be empowered to go after your well-being. So in that point right there, I'm looking at, right, what form and what tool and what resource is that person going to benefit from? Is this purely inner child work? Is this purely cognitive processing? Is this a fact of there is a root issue that needs to be identified in the first instance? Because there may be hidden traumas. Yeah. And all of those things can be triggered along the journey. So you need to be empowered and move from that point onwards. So for me, that's once I've started to empower you, or once the whole of Music, Mind and Wellbeing on the varying courses, whatever, empowers you, you then will start to speak for yourself. You will start to move into that place. And I love the fact that you and I, the way that we have connected is because what we do, there's areas that I can say, wow, we are expertly experienced in that area. There are other areas as we go through our own personal development. Yeah, we're a little green here. We need some mentoring. That's why we have coaches and guidance in that area. But we are thriving in the direction that we know we want to be going. And that is speaking for itself. It really, really is. I'm so proud of you, Nick, you know, in all the things that we speak about, you know, before the call, etc. And I know what's going on in your life right now. So if there's one major takeaway regarding it will speak for itself, what is that takeaway that you want to leave one person with? Because all it takes is one person to affect and change their life.
Oh, man, that's a beautiful question, Anne. Thank you. The one takeaway that I would ask is that if you can't speak for yourself, what are your actions saying? That's the big takeaway. If you can no longer use words to express what it is, your mission, your values, your vision, what are your actions saying about that?
Very true. I think the one thing that I really want to say, and I think I say this nearly every week, self-reflection. You cannot have too much self-reflection. There can be just a moment in the day you need to walk away from your computer while you're at work. Just walk to the end of the corridor. Oh, so that's what I was doing. That's what I was thinking. Oh, that's what made me do that. A moment of self-reflection can send to you. I actually go outside and kick my shoes off and walk on some grass. I love being grounded. I just love it. And it just lets me think about what I'm thinking about. Have that moment of metacognition, as it's known, and just recenter. It's a great point. So
No, that's
yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful. And I love that of how aware you are of the awareness.
Oh, thank you so much. And I pray that people really will become awake, because that is what I call on my courses, my journeys, as we wrap up. Allow well-being, and now allow knowledge every day, every single day. Awaken. We all need to wake up. And all the details are in the chat. You want to say something,
Man,
Nico?
you're not created to be perfect. That's it. You're not created to be a perfect little angel. It's okay to have no halo.
I'm telling you, you know what? I'm going to be looking at my actions and going, how can I do that one thing better? Nico said, you know, if I couldn't speak, if I couldn't be eloquent, and if I couldn't say something right, what are my actions saying? Can I be one little bit better? Nico, yes, I can. And we'll do it that way. But I just want to say thank you for being here, Nico Morales of No Halo. And I'm Anne Phillips. All our details are down in the comments. And you know what? Subscribe, follow, chat, share, because these conversations are about changing lives. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.